heart, which isn't good, and then you hate that the thing that's causing you so much pain is something that just you hate that you hate. What I'm talking about is Valentine's Day. Stupid holiday. Hateful if you're single and sorely feel it. But it's a stupid holiday, so how stupid to hate it? Who cares if we don't have anything special to spend it with? I mean, really, who cares? And then the sadness and insecurity and feeling like a loser about it sets in. And then what really sucks, at least for me, I start feeling like I'm one of the characters of the Brady Bunch. You know, in that embarrassing kind of way where you actually feel like they're feeling, which is so stupid. So you hate that you're feeling like that. Like them when they're feeling like that. You know, all bummed about not having dates and all that kind of crap. It was always my double, triple horror of Valentine's Day. I know that the holiday is really named after a Christian bishop who was martyred because he refused Rome's edict to halt weddings of Roman soldiers because Rome was all afraid that newly wedded soldiers wouldn't want to fight. So really Valentine's Day is a celebration of sacred pacifism. I know this now. 30 years ago, I didn't know anything, or so I thought. One Valentine's Day back then, when I was in my 20s, living in Chicago, trying to make it, figure out how to be a comic, a successful comic, the funniest woman in America. I got a phone call from the club manager where I did my most performing, the Chicago Comedy Showcase, which actually was housed at a former church, BTW, FYI. Anyway, I talked to this guy for a while because I hadn't performed in a while. When I moved to Chicago a couple years before, right after college, I'd taken a few stabs at stand-up, but I'd failed miserably. I mean, it's one thing to be the life of the party, and it's quite another thing to be standing before people who have paid to have you amuse them. And in any case, this manager called me because he decided to do a last-minute Valentine's Day show. And I don't know why, but it was in the middle of the week, and maybe he needed something to do, and maybe he hated Valentine's Day the way I did and figured I wouldn't have other plans. Maybe that was the reason I didn't call. But anyway, he was wondering if I would do some stand-up. And I first balked because, you know, I hadn't done stand-up in a while, and I didn't know what I would do, and I didn't have an act per se. But I hated that a lot less than I hated Valentine's Day, so I said, sure, I'll think of something. And the minute I threw my phone, I put the phone down, something came to me. Oh my gosh, I suddenly remembered that someone had once told me that February 14th is not just Valentine's Day, it's Florence Henderson's birthday. Of course. Who else but Mrs. Brady would be born on February 14th? I knew exactly what I would do. I would have a 15-minute Florence Henderson birthday party. Screw Valentine's Day. I focus on something much more festive. And I know exactly how it would start. Musical chairs. I would bring some volunteers up on the stage, and we would circle around ever diminishing number of chairs to the music of Song of Norway. Remember that movie? It was one of those big budget Hollywood bombs like Paint Your Wagon, and it was all about Edvard Grieg, and it starred Florence Henderson, and I had the album, and I had we would win a jar of Wesson oil. Remember, she did those Wesson set. Okay, then the second thing we do would be pin the weird flip on the back of Mrs. Brady's head. You could tell a donkey, but less frizzy. And the winner would get a black eyebrow pencil so they could dot in a beauty mark like Florence's anytime they wanted to. And then we'd have some cake and some tang, and we'd finish it off. Instead of happy birthday, we'd sing the Brady Bunch theme, and the best singer would win a pantsuit. I'd see thousands of pantsuits on sale for 50 cents, and so I would go there and pick up a butte and head over to the club. I was set. I was so set, more set than a Brady man's perm. Needless to say, my act was a hit. People laughed, they clapped, they played along, they enjoyed the lovely party gifts, especially the pantsuit. I was exhilarated. I suddenly knew I could do stand-up, and I knew what my act would be like. It would be kooky and out there, and always have that spirit of a Florence Henderson birthday party. I became the Czarina of fun, the kissing cousin of the king of comedy. And I always had things like an Elvis trivia contest, where the right answers got Smarties candies, and the wrong answers got dum-dums. the band Bread. Remember them? Bradley. And I played them on my oboe. Because there's nothing like going like... Sometimes I read my mother's letters, and sometimes I put my fist in my mouth. And we'd always end with the Brady Bunch theme song with a pantsuit for the best singer. And humble yet proud to say, I developed quite a nice little stand-up career there in Chicago. I had groupies, I got invited to speak on local talk shows, I even got flown out by my old alma mater, Oberlin, to host their B-movie festival. I took LA with the hopes of becoming a wacky neighborhood singer. And while I was there, I met the people from the Real Live Brady Bunch, which was this theatrical phenomenon where regular actors put on like 70s wigs and put on 70s clothes and reenacted word for word Brady Bunch episodes. It was this huge hit. And when they met me and found out that I do the Brady Bunch theme song at the end of my act and hand out a pantsuit, and I had the exact replica of the pantsuit that Mrs. Brady wears in the Davy Jones episode, they invited me to direct a production of the Real Life Brady Bunch in Sydney, Australia. Even though I've never directed before in my life. Now, this became a huge faith exercise for me because, I just started coming back to church and trying out a relationship, adult relationship with God after size. And I had such success in turning Aussies into Bradys that I thought I might be able to try my hand turning heathens into Christians. Or these people that are active at church into more enthusiastic members of the finance committee. I answered this call to ministry that happened out in the desert that I briefly mentioned. And I packed up all my pantsuits, and I went to seminary where I learned all about comedy and theology, and I got to start this improv troupe called Angelic Residue, and I got to have complex for peace and preach about how God is like a pantsuit. God is like vibrant, colorful like a pantsuit, and has male and female attributes like a pantsuit, and touches with you and moves wherever you go. And God, like a pantsuit, is eternal. You can bury a pantsuit in the ground. So I look back at my life and how kooky and creative and crazy and comical it's been. I mean, how I've gotten to do things out there and in here that far transcend anything I could have made up. And I can make up some pretty weird stuff. When I look back, it all was born, or at least exponentially exploded, because of Valentine's Day.